You have 3. You can't ask a question. Number 4. Thank you.
Do you believe that a component for allowing public comment at school board meetings is something that should be provided? But if you do, this is the real question, what structure would you use to ensure that this was done?
Mr. Velasquez.
I'm not sure I understand your question. Could you please restate your question?
Sure. Do you believe there should be a component within a school board meeting that allows for public comment? And if you do, what vehicle, what structure would you use to ensure that the public has the ability to speak to the board other than election time?
Well, right now, there are public comments at the beginning of each board meeting. And yes, I believe that we need to hear from the community because, you know, our community is part of the the teamwork to better education, and so it's important to hear the various individuals' beliefs. As far as structure, you know, we have to have reasonable time limits. And so that if there's several that want to talk, just reasonable. But other than that, yes, absolutely, support it. Oops.
Mr. Chavez?
Yes, I believe that we need to have an openness with the school board. We need to be able to listen to the community and the community's input in order to take it into account when we're making our decisions. There's already an avenue for doing some public comments like Enrico said, but what I'd like to propose to do if I were on the school board would be to make situations or special sessions where we have public comment only sessions so that we can have opportunity to hear as many comments as possible from the community in terms of, you know, the different types of agendas. Maybe we can set up an agenda to say we'd like to hear comments on these particular areas in a couple of weeks and set up meetings like that to create a better sense of community and a better sense of trust between the community and the school board in terms of listening, our listening abilities and our actions in terms of taking that information and doing something with it.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Martinez?
I'm in support of public comment. The public always has great input and advice to be given. I know as far as structure goes, I know if I have a question about the school, I call the school myself, I call the administration building myself, and I think it's just the initiative of the community to get their question answered. I'm very email friendly. I love to answer everything by email, contact by email. So I feel that with the public, we would need to get the public's input on what kind of structure they would like to see from the school board and how they would like their questions answered.
Thank you. Mr. Peralta?
There's 3 ways that you can solicit public comment. One is definitely at the school board meetings you have a public comment period. The second way is also at the school board is to have public comment upon request by board members when a decision is being made in order for clarification on the issue that's at hand. The third way for public comment is to have the administration's team have a public forum for the public to be involved in assisting them to make the decisions on how they're going to attack the educational program for the students. And all 3 of those together can make it work for the public to really have the input and to have the transparency that's needed on the board.
Thank you.
From 2007 until September of 2010, I hardly missed a board meeting, be it special, be it a regular board meeting, be it financial, and at every meeting there's an opportunity for anyone to get up and speak or ask questions. And I must say that I have not really seen too many people do this. I'm on the town council, and we have the same thing, an open forum where people can get up and bring up any questions they want. And every 3 months, we have an open forum so that people can come in and complain or ask us anything they want. Is that my time up already? Oh, okay. Okay, 19 seconds. And this is my experience, and I don't want to sound negative, but everybody seems to have something to say, and when they have the opportunity to say it, nobody ever shows up. At the last forum that we had at the town, we had one person show up, and that was a tourist to tell us how great the town looked.
Yeah, you know, I think the public is really yearning for openness and transparency these days, and sadly, as we yearn more and more for that, it seems things get more divisive and volatile. But I know that's a bit of an aside. There's certainly should be an opportunity for public comment at every board meeting, and it should be controlled by the president of the board pursuant to the rules of order. And a good president of the board should be able to control it and to make sure that it's productive. And if the public needs more, I like David's idea of establishing an occasional special session in order to allow even more public comment, because that's what drives a policy-making board like this, is the public.
Thank you.
I also agree. So if a couple of us that went on are able to win this election, we're going to have an open forums, because it's something that we need to give the public an opportunity to speak. I've been at those board meetings, and it seems like the only one that got to speak was Gene, because everybody else were out of order when no one wanted to hear the same issues. So at this point, everybody's has the issue and voice of our community at this time. They need to be there for us. Thank you.
I've been to a number of board meetings. I've spoken at the public forums there. The current setup does not work. It's very frustrating. You get 15 minutes, everybody to speak. The board does not interact at all with you. That's the end of it. The board goes on for another 3 or 4 hours, has nothing else to say. We need to change that. There's actually a board policy, which to me makes absolutely no sense. It says the board will not interact with the public during a board meeting. Mind-boggling. It needs to be changed. There needs to be more public sessions during the board meeting. There also needs to be forums outside of standard board meetings where the board and the public can interact back and forth. Ask questions, get ideas, back and forth dialogue. It's needed. It's the only way we're going to move the school forward.
I would have to say a great question tonight, but this one really hits home. I think as a school board member, when there is an open forum or people of the community that want to express their ideas, their concerns, it's to our advantage to take those and use those as a tool for our success as a school board member, to validate those people that are talking, to respect them. Number one, to respect their concerns. I believe that if we use them as a tool, I remember this phrase that says the most successful person is the most resourceful person. If we use those, I think, and hear our community, what their concerns are, I think we can succeed. I can promise you this, and maybe this should be implemented in the policies, that we're quick to listen, slow to answer or speak, and slow to anger. Thank you.
You know, I think as a cornerstone of democracy, public comment and public guidance is an absolute and it's a necessity. There's no question about that. Not only will I promise to make a monthly public forum for the school board if elected, I also promise to make those first 5 minutes of the school board a lot more enjoyable so that you can be there and so that you're not afraid to ask your question. I think that's why nobody asks the questions when they have the opportunity. They're intimidated, and that needs to end.
Who has number 5 up here?